Hi everyone, I am so excited about this upcoming masterclass with Ben Greenfield. Because for the longest time, for almost a decade, I have been obsessed with the mind, with cognition, with mindfulness, with meditation. But when I turned 40, I found that I was starting to feel my body wear down, and it was affecting everything in my life, from my relationships to my self-image to how I functioned at work. And so, as this man went into his 40s, I decided that I needed to go beyond just educating people on the mind, and I needed to start looking at nutrition, at food, at exercise. And so I started on a personal mission to identify the best individuals on the planet who could help me become healthier, help me improve my body, help me regain that energy I had when I was young. And one of the people that I discovered was Ben Greenfield. Ben is an extraordinary individual. He is a remarkable teacher, and he's one of the most incredible minds I've ever experienced. I first learned about Ben when I started tuning into his podcast, the Ben Greenfield podcast. And very rapidly, the Ben Greenfield podcast became the #1 podcast I was listening to. I spent more time listening to this man on his podcast than any other podcast out there. And that's when I knew I needed to meet Ben Greenfield. So when we, as a Mindvalley team, went to meet Ben, we were in for a treat. We met a guy who was not just accomplished so much, but a guy who was a true gem of a human being. I'm gonna play a quick video of what happened when we went to meet Ben in his home in a moment. But first, let me tell you what Ben has so far accomplished. He is a biohacker, a human body and brain performance coach, an ex-bodybuilder, an Ironman triathlete, a professional Spartan athlete, an anti-aging consultant, and the author of a New York Times bestseller. He has a master's degree in exercise physiology and biomechanics. But get this, right? In 2008, Ben was voted the #1 personal trainer in the United States and named one of the world's top 100 most influential people in health and fitness in 2014 and 2015. And get this, he's one of only 3 people in the world who has done 9 of the hardest Spartan races in a single year. Now, the hardest Spartan races involve something like going through 72 hours of intense physical activity in -30-degree weather. And that's what Ben has been able to achieve with his incredible self-discipline and training. Ben today is the man responsible for maximizing performance, recovery, fat loss, digestion, brain sleep, and hormone optimization for CEOs, for ultra-endurance competitors, and a wide variety of professional athletes, including poker champions, tennis players, motocross competitors, the NFL, NHL, and UFC, and beyond. So please give a big round of applause to our guest today, Ben Greenfield. Hey, Ben.
Thanks, Fishin.
So, Ben, before we get started with this training, I gotta play this video. This is what I experienced when me and our team went to visit Ben and discuss creating this program with him. Let's roll the video.
And I'm going to press start. Control your breath. Activate first. And we'll go in and get all groomed up for dinner.
Are we going back to the sauna?
No.
Okay, that works.
Get Lorenzo. He didn't get the front of him yet.
This is my first ever semi-naked smoke fight.
Whoa. Get him.
Okay, back in the hot tub.
Now we go in the hot tub and you're going to feel all these pleasant little pins and needles all over your skin. Yeah. One more fry.
Delivering baby sound.
Well, we're doing squats and Russian death march and side planks. 997. 2.
Every time I have a new author, I like to learn the author's stuff, really go in deep with the program that we're creating. This is potentially the hardest immersion I've ever done in something by a Mindvalley author, but it feels so good. So I gotta say, that time spent with you was intense.
Hey, you picked the time to come out in the dead of winter, so that's why you could have come in the spring when the birds were singing and the flowers were blossoming.
I wanted the challenge. I think it was like minus 13 Celsius outside.
It was pretty cold. You came on a pretty cold day.
But what was amazing about that was just how much I learned in a short time together. And we went on to spend days with Ben filming and developing this program, which is truly unique in the world, because there are many exercise programs out there, but this program is going to so educate you to go beyond just fitness protocols. This is not an exercise program. Our new quest with Ben Greenfield fundamentally transform your relationship with your body, and it approaches health and wellness and fitness from a completely different dimension. So in this masterclass, we're going to cover a couple of really interesting topics. Ben is going to expose the 5 biggest myths that we have in the developed world about fitness and health. And these myths will change the way you view your body and what your body is capable of. And then you're going to learn 2 specific systems that you can immediately apply in your life to completely elevate everything from the way you put on muscle to your metabolic capacity, that is your rate of fat burn. Finally, you're going to learn about the new program we're developing with Ben to transform human health everywhere. So Ben, before we get started, I just want to read out some of the things that people are saying about you and how your work has influenced them. Ready to blush?
All right, let's do it.
So before we move on, here are a few things that people have been saying about Ben, and I want to share this with you to show you just how massive this man's influence has been. So this is from Christine Buckley, who's the president of the Washington chapter of the Barefoot Runners Society. Yes, that actually exists. And she says, I not only use Ben's information to transform my life, but also to help me benefit my clients. It's easily implementable into your lifestyle, as well as it challenges you to think about your health and move beyond your current level of health, fitness, and your beliefs. Maisha from Portland, Oregon says, I've lost weight and fat, but more importantly, I've gained a new perspective on nutrition and training habits. The entire shape of my body has changed. Dave has said, all my friends have noticed that I look better. I love having more energy. So Ben, let's kick off this conversation with the 5 big lies of fitness.
The big scary lies.
The big scary lies.
Yes. Well, I'll tell you what the first is, and that is that we think we can reach our old age, and that at that point, whatever age that might be, 50 or 60 or 70, we no longer need to be fit, or more commonly, we no longer can be fit. And the fact is, not only has research proven that you can, contrary to popular belief, maintain muscle, maintain stamina, maintain fitness as you age, but I would argue that it's actually necessary as we enter into this era of increased life expectancy, this era of people actually learning what it takes to live a long time, because you want to live a long time with high quality of life. You don't want to live a long time being cold and fragile and skinny and hungry and with hormonal deficits. You want to be robust, beautiful, and full of energy, and that's what this program is going to give you.
And let's look at the data on that, right? So Singularity University is telling us that right now, today, this year, the average American lifespan, and therefore the average lifespan of anyone in the developing world, is already extended by around 3 months for every year you live. So our lifespans are naturally increasing, but after 2030, medical science is going to be able to add 1 year to every year you live. Now, if you put this in a spreadsheet, which I did once, I calculated that I'm actually going to live to be over 100. But my 10-year-old son, he's going to live to be closer to 130. But the thing is, while we are living longer, we cannot yet reverse aging. So it's our responsibility to stay youthful and healthy well into our old ages, well into our hundreds.
Exactly. I mean, you can live a long time, and you can look like Yoda, right? You want to live a long time and be a perfect shining example of what a human body and human brain are fully capable of.
Right, and those of you in the Mindvalley community will remember this picture of John Butcher that we have shared many times, right? John is now in his mid-50s and he still looks like that. It is a mindset shift. Now let's go on to the second big lie.
So the second big lie is that as you age, as you become, I hate this phrase, but I'm going to use it anyway, as you become elderly, that you're fragile, that you're weak, that you're no longer a contributory member of society because you're relegated to a rocking chair or a wheelchair or a nursing home, and that's simply not the case. Sarcopenia is the term given to the natural loss of muscle as one ages. The problem is that this loss of muscle is something that we've accepted as all too normal, because we now have this societal expectation that you're going to lose muscle anyways, so you might as well just not do anything and accept that fate. The fact is, there's a growing body of research over the past decade, particularly in the strength and conditioning fields, that you can, with specific techniques, actually maintain a very nice body, and perhaps even more important to me, the strength and the functional fitness that you need to be able to play football with your grandkids, or to kick a soccer ball around with your friends when you're 80 or 90, or play tennis or play golf, or do whatever it is that brings you happiness as you age. So this whole idea that you have to just curl up into a ball and let all your muscle waste away as you age is completely not true.
And not only that, but it's dangerous. So again, some interesting data I came across recently. CBS News this year released this study, and it shows that the #1 cause of accidental death for Americans 70 and older is falling down. So my father turned 70 this year, right? And a doctor told him that because of sarcopenia, he's basically wasting away because he doesn't exercise much. So I pulled my dad into a gym, and applying some of the ideas that you're going to hear Ben talk about, this is what we were able to do with my father, who's 70 years old. And I just want to play this video, Ben, because this is super slow training, strength training. You're going to be talking about this. Check out what this approach does for a 70-year-old man. Now, keep this in mind. When my father first started, and what he's doing here is the leg press exercise, a very classic gym exercise. Almost every gym has a leg press. My dad could leg press 80 kilograms. 4 weeks later, he was leg pressing 140 kilograms. And that was by going to the gym no more than an hour a week. So it took 4 hours of work for him to see a 70% strength increase in a span of 1 month. Let's roll the video.
This would be the same weight as Bishop. Let's do it. Show the youngsters who's boss. Push, 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 push. 140.
Wow.
And come down. Come down, don't do another rep. You can? 2 reps. 2 RM on 140 kgs. Come back down and relax. Relax completely. One more, and push. 3 reps on 140. How's that, Bishop?
Amazing.
How's that?
Amazing.
3 reps on your
What was his
weight.
previous weight?
80.
80.
Yeah.
So from 80 kilograms to 150 kilograms in 4 weeks.
140.
140. 80
Yeah.
to 140 in 4
80
weeks.
to 140 in 4 weeks.
Amazing.
Yeah, awesome.
Isn't that amazing, Ben?
You know, I met your father in Sardinia at A-Fest.
Right.
And he looks the way that I think, you know, an older man as he ages should look. You know, I mean, he's rooted to the ground, he's standing tall and strong, he has good posture. He's a perfect example of what happens when you apply these principles to your life. Furthermore, when we talk about maintaining fitness or feeling and looking and performing optimally as you age, there's another term that doesn't get thrown around quite as much as muscle, and that is mitochondria. Mitochondria. The health and the number of your mitochondria are directly correlated with your quality of life as you age, and even decreased risk of a variety of chronic diseases, from cardiovascular disease to cancer. And the idea is that by maintaining a fitness program that's correctly structured as you age, you can not only maintain muscle, but you can also maintain what I feel is just as important as muscle, and that's mitochondria, the tiny little energy-producing organelles in each and every cell of your body.
Yeah, so mitochondria exist in your cells, and they release energy. So if you can increase your cellular mitochondrial count, what this means is you have more energy. So my father, before that 4 weeks, right, had difficulty going up the stairs. Right now he's telling me he feels completely different. His relatives were observing him and they noticed a different man, right, 4 weeks later, because of the shifts he was going through. Now, why I'm stressing 4 weeks and why I'm stressing the fact that my father is 70 is because if you're watching this and you're over 50, know that this, what you're going to learn here, this is the approach you want to follow for exercise. You will see late night infomercials on television in America that talk about these vigorous 1 hour long daily exercise routines. Those are not often appropriate for men and women over a certain age because that can be dangerous to your knees. They can be dangerous to your bones.
Dangerous, painful, even a waste of your time.
And a waste of time.
Your valuable time. You want to do other things as you age too. You want to be able to enjoy hobbies and art and music and theater, and you don't want to be relegated to spending hours in a gym.
Right.
That's not necessary.
But the right exercise, 30 to 60 minutes a week. Some of these ideas you're going to learn.
A week, not a day.
Yeah, 30 to 60 minutes a week. You're going to learn some of these techniques in this conversation, and you can go deeper on our new longevity quest with Ben Greenfield. But this is what can transform the health and wellness of men and women over 50. And that brings us to the third big lie, which is essentially that we need to spend hours and hours and hours exercising to be at our best. Ben?
You look at the blue zones, right? These longevity hot spots all around the world where people are living a disproportionately long period of time. We see low-level physical activity throughout the day. We see good air. We see quality exposure to sunshine. We see clean water. What we don't see are people spending hours and hours per week or per day beating themselves up in a gym, as seems to be the philosophy and the approach, especially in many westernized countries where we have gyms, so we just go to them because they're there and we spend way too much time in them. The fact is, you don't need to spend that amount of time exercising. And the reason for that is that if you structure your life, the way that I teach in this quest to structure your life, enhancing not only your fitness, but your movement, your recovery, your overall health, exercise becomes almost like the icing on the cake. Meaning, when you incorporate all these other elements into your life, it's that last little thing that you do for that last little bit of fitness that you want to look good in your t-shirt or that pair of jeans that you love or your swimsuit or whatever the reason is that you want to add in that fitness component. But as long as you structure things accordingly and you use the strategies in this program, exercise is not something that involves beating yourself up in a gym for 30 or 60 or 90 minutes a day, as we see so many people doing.
And science is now proving this. You've maybe heard about the science of minimum effective dose exercise, or the scientists who have studied approaches like Tabata, where 4 minutes of exercise can give you the same impact as 30 minutes of aerobic activity.
4 minutes of exercise. It's actually the Tabata, I'm glad you brought that up because it's a perfect example of the style of exercise you'd find in this program, where instead of spending 30 minutes on a treadmill, you spend 4 minutes of 20 seconds on, 10 seconds off, boom, you're done. Another perfect example is research they've done on controlling your blood glucose. It takes only 30 seconds of exercise before you eat to actually enhance
research.
Your ability to be able to not have a big blood glucose response when you eat carbohydrates. 30 seconds. And so, yeah, I mean, it comes down to this fact that you have X amount of time in your day, 24 hours for most people, for just about everybody. You want to be able to spend that time doing the things that you enjoy and doing the things that you love. And I understand that exercise and fitness is fun and it's something that a lot of people love, but it should not be something that you're required to do for hours and hours a week, especially if that's not something that you even enjoy or find interesting.
So what we're really developing here, guys, is a lifestyle change methodology. This changes your lifestyle. This is not an exercise program. You will learn the right exercises to do. You will learn the right movement. You will learn new cutting-edge techniques, which you may never have heard about before, like hormesis, but this is not an exercise program. So you're in for a treat. Ben, tell us about big lie number 4.
So big lie number 4 is that you can look good and you can look young without necessarily being fit. Now, as we've just alluded to, This doesn't mean that you have to spend hours and hours in a gym to attain the levels of fitness that require you to have longevity and health and beauty. But you do in fact need to be fit. And again, returning to these blue zones, we see manual physical labor throughout the day. We see occasionally lifting heavy things. We see occasional sprinting. We see what our ancestors would have experienced, whether that might be running from a lion or a saber-toothed tiger, or chasing down a woolly mammoth for dinner,
Right.
Building a fence, lifting a rock, constructing a home. Now, I understand that not everybody lives the life of a construction worker or a hunter or a gatherer or a gardener. If you do, then you're lucky in that your life is keeping you fit. But the fact is, to stay young and live a long time, especially in our post-industrial era, where we're relegated many times to be sitting at work, sitting on the subway, sitting on a bus, sitting on an airplane, you do need to include some element of fitness, of lifting heavy things, of moving fast, of moving slow, of engaging in mobility and recovery in order to experience true and optimized health, longevity, and beauty. So these 4 strategies need to go hand in hand. Fitness, health, beauty, and longevity. You nail those 4 strategies, which you're going to learn in this quest, and you've got your bases covered. But the fact is, if you're just pursuing fitness without considering these others, you're gonna miss out on some variables. And if you're just pursuing health and beauty and longevity without focusing on fitness, you're also gonna leave a lot on the table when it comes to looking, feeling, and performing the way that a human being was meant to.
And what happens is that a lot of people enroll in these exercise programs that suggest that they exercise for 30 minutes to an hour every single day, but it only covers fitness. Doesn't cover beauty, doesn't cover health, doesn't cover longevity. And so really, when you look at it from those 4 pillars, this is a lifestyle change.
Let me give you a concrete example of that. There are many people who are fit with horrible posture, right? They have, for example, that mitochondrial density that we were talking about. And maybe they've got a decent amount of muscle, but they're hunched over, their right shoulder's higher than their left, they take their shirt off and their body looks just a little bit not put together. And the idea behind that is they haven't incorporated an element of this program that's a key element of this program, and that's mobility. Actually treating your soft tissue in a manner that enhances your symmetry and the way that your body appears, the way that you stand, the way that you move, the way that you walk. And so that's a perfect example of how you could have fitness but have the absence of beauty. Another perfect example would be someone who decides that they're going to attain their fitness through long chronic cardio sessions. You're going to go for a long lunchtime run, or that huge morning bike ride, or the weekend death march slog we see so many marathoners doing. Now, don't get me wrong. If your goal is to climb your own personal Mount Everest, and that is, say, an Ironman triathlon, right? You're probably gonna have to go out and do a little bit more endurance than what might be considered to be ancestral or natural, or even, dare I say, healthy. But the idea is that when you're doing all this chronic cardio, you can actually increase arterial stiffness. You can increase risk of cardiovascular disease. We see some people dropping dead during triathlons and marathons because they have not paired their fitness with a consideration of longevity and health. Right? So the takeaway message here is that you need to have a balanced approach, and that's why we've included all 4 strategies in this quest: fitness, health, beauty, and longevity.
So Ben, that brings us to big lie number 5, right? Which is where people think that just because I do yoga, I'm good, I'm going to be healthy. But in reality, there are 5 categories of fitness that we need to look at. Now, the quest that we're developing covers all 5, but let's share that 5 with everyone.
Right, you look at human physiology, and if we're just doing yoga, we'll have flexibility and some amount of mobility. If we're just doing high intensity interval training, we'll have some amount of stamina, we'll have some amount of mitochondrial density and some amount of oxygen utilization. If we're just doing strength training, we're gonna have some amount of muscle and some amount of strength and some amount of power. But if we're only doing each of those activities by themselves, we're gonna be very unbalanced when it comes to what it takes for complete fitness, when it comes to complete physiology. Now, my formal training is exercise physiology. My master's degree is in exercise physiology and biomechanics. And so for this quest, what I did was I identified the 5 specific parameters of fitness that you must engage in if you want that complete balanced approach to fitness, and you also want to maintain your health, your beauty, and your longevity. So the way that we've chunked these fitness categories up is you have your strength and your muscle mass, right? This is, as you would kind of logically conclude, strength and muscle mass. It's things like, moving heavy things. So next we have muscular endurance and anaerobic capacity. That's your ability to do what I alluded to earlier, build that mitochondrial density, build your cardiovascular fitness. We have stamina, or the ability to simply be able to move for long periods of time.
And that's cardio.
Right, it's essentially your endurance, your cardiovascular health, and it kind of is something that confuses a lot of people when you make that distinction between the higher intensity cardio training and the lower intensity cardio training. The former builds all that mitochondria and the lungs that you want for climbing a set of stairs. The latter, that cardiovascular endurance, allows you to go on that beautiful hike that you want to go on, or a bike ride by the sea. The next would be your metabolic efficiency. This is your ability through low-level physical activity spread throughout the day and through some of the strategies that we incorporate in this program, morning fat loss sessions, the ability to be able to turn your body into a fat-burning machine, the ability to be able to train your body to utilize fatty acids as a fuel by engaging in fat burning all throughout the day. And then the final component is mobility and recovery. Right, your ability to be able to actually build that symmetry that I was talking about and be able to recover, to feel good, to not be super sore after you've engaged in other elements such as the strength and the muscle mass or the high intensity interval training.
Amazing. So just in those few short minutes, we've learned so much. So I'm going to recap for everyone here. Okay, so the first thing you want to understand, the first big lie we want to get rid of is this. We think it's impossible to maintain our fitness in our older years, but the answer is we absolutely need to focus on maintaining our health and fitness as we get older. Number 2, if you're elderly, it doesn't mean that you're exempt from exercise. You absolutely need the right exercise to prevent muscle loss. Number 3, you do not need to spend hours and hours and hours in the gym. The best exercise is often done in small doses. Number 4, you will look good and feel your best when you're fit. Number 5 is that there are 5 categories of fitness that we have to look at. And it's not about just nailing your yoga practice. There's a diversity of different practices that you need to bring in. So even if you stop here and choose not to go on with this masterclass or not to take part in a new program with Ben Greenfield, you've already gained 5 new ideas on how to view health and fitness. And these ideas, hopefully, will change the way you see life. For example, that's just that idea that it is our responsibility to stay fit even into our later years, completely transformed me. When I rolled into 40, I was not in the best shape. But by 42, after I started getting acquainted with Ben Greenfield's work, with WildFit, with John Butcher as an inspiration, I'm now actually 7 kilograms lighter than I was at 40, belly fat completely gone, and I'm at the fittest level in my life. My 42-year-old self right now can probably outrun my 25-year-old self. But a lot of it has to do with that mental model shift. So hopefully you're going to experience that too. But now we want to actually give you some practical systems that you can bring into your life immediately this week that will help move you towards a new level of health and fitness. Ben?
So the fact is there's 4 key behavioral strategies that are part of this quest. You've got your fitness, right? And we already talked about how too many people are walking into the gym and beating themselves up for hours in some cases and walking out bedraggled and sore and hangry and everything else that goes along with too much fitness. There are actually 4 strategies. Fitness is just one. You also have health, longevity, and beauty, right? You want to be a healthy, robust person, you want to live a long time, and you want to look good. So the idea is that we've woven in to this quest 10 different strategies that you use to tackle each of those parameters. Strategies like mobility and recovery and stamina. But what I want to share with you today are just two of those strategies that give you a lot of bang for your buck. I mean, if you weren't to do any other part of this quest and you were just to do these two strategies, you're going to move the dial quite a bit. So the first is metabolic efficiency. Metabolic efficiency. This is, as I alluded to earlier, your ability to turn your body into a fat-burning machine. So the idea, and this is very, very simple, it's a strategy I've used for years to stay very lean year-round. You start off with waking up in a fasted state, meaning rather than waking up and having a huge mess of scrambled eggs or a giant smoothie with 10 pears and 2 bananas and an apple, you instead wake up fasted. And after the first several days that you do this, it's just easy as cake to wake up. Probably a poor analogy, easy as cake, but it's super easy to wake up and not eat. Okay, so wake up, you don't eat, don't worry, you can still have that breakfast that you crave or the big cup of coffee with all your superfoods in it or whatever else it is that you like to have for breakfast. This isn't a breakfast skipping program if breakfast is your thing. But you wake up and before you eat, you engage in one of the most potent strategies for burning fat. It's a 1-2 combo. First, you go out and you spend anywhere from 10 to 20 minutes moving in your fat burning zone. The fat burning zone is this easy aerobic conversational zone. We're talking about, taking Fido out for a walk in the sunshine or Spot or Rex or Spike or whatever your dog might be called. You're going to go out at a super easy pace. It can be a swim, it could be maybe a few yoga moves that you really dig, it could be an easy bike ride, it can be even just chilling in a sauna if that's your thing, because even that kind of gets your heart rate up a little bit. Anything that is considered light, easy movement for about 10 to 20 minutes. And then you follow that up with one of my favorite things to do on the face of the planet. It makes a lot of people scream and giggle, but it works quite well for me. It's a cold shower. And specifically, it's a hot-cold contrast shower, meaning it's not just standing there in the cold the whole time. Instead, very, very simple, you spend 5 minutes in the shower, and I even have like a little underwater MP3 player that I'll use so I can listen to podcasts or audiobooks or my singing in the shower music.
We also like to sing in the shower for these hot, cold contrast showers, right? I got the magic in me.
Or whatever it is that I want to entertain myself with, and you go 20 seconds of cold, 10 seconds of hot, right? So you just turn the shower back and forth, right? Exactly. 20 seconds cold, 10 seconds hot, 10 times through. Now you do the math, that's a total of 5 minutes. Now, what the fasted fat burning does is it makes your body tap into its own fat as a fuel without you having to burn everything that you ate for breakfast beforehand. What the hot-cold contrast shower does is it releases a whole bunch of nitric oxide, which is like Viagra for your whole body into your tissue. It just gets blood flowing everywhere. But perhaps even more importantly, it's one of the things that we can do to kill fat cells or to convert fat cells into more metabolically active tissue. There's a type of tissue, for example, called brown fat that makes you burn more calories. This hot-cold contrast shower gives you just that. So it's that simple to increase your metabolic efficiency and turn yourself into a fat-burning machine. You wake up, fasted, 10 to 20 minutes of easy movement. You follow that up with this 5-minute hot-cold contrast shower.
So let me repeat that, because I noticed one thing about you. I have been dining here in Tallinn, Estonia with this guy for the past couple of days, and we will go out, get an incredibly massive meal.
Pork, elk, beer, honey, spiced wine.
He's drinking beer, he's drinking bread with honey and butter, and still you are lean, like you are completely ripped. There is no fat on you. What's your body fat percentage?
It ranges between about 5 and 7%.
Right, so that's really remarkable, and I want you to know, and that's not just because Ben is like on some insane keto diet, right? He's really hacking the system. So this is what I learned from Ben, and I started doing this in the middle of Mindvalley University. So Ben showed me last week that after having a big meal together, so we would stop dining at say 9 p.m., and the next day I would skip my breakfast and go straight to lunch. So I went 16 hours without eating. That's called intermittent fasting. Now, I was at first worried that this would affect my performance on stage, that it would make me grumpy or hangry, when you're hungry and angry. But what I found is that I was allowed to take coffee, okay, that no one messes with. Nobody messes with my coffee. I was allowed to take coffee, but skipping breakfast had no impact on me. I did not feel hungry. And I was, if anything, even more lucid, even more energetic on stage. So that is the first thing you're prescribing, which is intermittent fasting. And you say 12 to 16 hours is the magic number.
I'm on the same page as you. Coffee is lifeblood. It is the elixir of life, and I just have it, but I actually don't put anything into it that would be considered calories. And the fact is, I'm glad you brought that up, because that's actually an extra little hack. Coffee causes you to burn more fatty acids as a fuel. Green tea is the same thing. But yeah, when I'm here in Tallinn eating my giant pork legs dipped in mustard and following that up with a nice sip of honey mead, I wake up in the morning and I do exactly what I just described to you. And as you also alluded to, you aren't going to be going on your 20-minute walk in the sunshine with images of roasted chicken running through your head because you're so hungry. You get used to this very quickly, really, and fast. It's very simple to make a lifestyle habit.
And so it doesn't have to be 16 hours, it can be 12 hours. So if you stop your dinner at 9 p.m. and you're not consuming any other calories that night, you go to bed, you wake up, you do that 20-minute walk, you do the hot-cold shower combination that Ben spoke of. You can still have a coffee as soon as you wake up, and then you have breakfast at say 9:30, 10 a.m. You've still gone 12 to 13 hours of intermittent fasting, and that's still pretty good, right?
Exactly. You see a lot of the magic kick in when it comes, again, not to just fitness and fat loss, but beauty and longevity and health.
I've been reading that intermittent fasting is one of the best ways to extend your longevity. It has this healing effect on your body.
Yes, there's a term called cellular autophagy. I like to think of it more like your little screaming fat cells dying a slow, horrible death. But the idea is that all of your cells have this built-in, pre-programmed ability to be able to turn over, to naturally die and be replaced by new and vibrant cells. And when you fast, it's one of the best ways to trigger this so-called cellular autophagy, or programmed cell death, and that's directly correlated with longevity.
Right, and the important thing to understand is we're not talking about a 1-day fast or a 3-day fast. Now, I believe some of that is covered in the Quest. What we're talking about is something super easy to do, a 12 to 16 hour fast.
Super simple, and again, once you get just a few days in, your body just switches over into doing it like clockwork.
That's amazing, Ben. Now, let's go on to strategy number 2.
Okay, so strategy number 2 is based on this idea that strength confers longevity, confers beauty, confers health, but this does not mean that you need to look like Arnold Schwarzenegger or a big ripped bodybuilder. And in fact, high amounts of muscle mass are correlated with increased mortality and an increased risk of dying, not decreased. The reason for that is you got to carry a lot of muscle. You have to create a bunch of antioxidants to cool and repair all this muscle. So the idea is you get this sweet spot of strength to muscle mass ratio. Strength to muscle mass ratio. I have blueprinted this entire program to give you that sweet spot of strength to muscle mass. So you got enough muscle mass to look good, but enough strength to be able to move functionally, and not so many slabs of useless muscle that you're just basically dying an early death trying to take care of it all. So the idea is that one of the best strategies for doing this is what is called super slow training. Super slow training. I did a session today in my apartment right here in Tallinn. I didn't wander into a gym. All I used was exactly what was right there in my hotel room, my own body weight. And all I did was, for example, my upper body one was a push-up. I do one set of push-ups. I do about 5 to 10 seconds down, 5 to 10 seconds up, and I do that entire set until those muscles have reached failure.
And how long does that take you?
Oh, it's maybe 1.5 to 2 minutes that I'm doing that push-up. And then I'll move on.
So it's 5 push-ups in 1.5 to 2 minutes. That's slow.
Exactly, super slow.
So it's around 20 seconds per push-up.
Exactly. So I'm breathing through my nose, I'm focused, but the idea is that you do it and then it's over. It's done. You aren't doing 3 and 5 and 10 sets and spending 10, 15, 20 minutes working your chest, and another 5, 10, 15 minutes working your shoulders. You just do that single set to failure, then you're done. And then you move on to 4 other body parts. You do a pulling motion, you do a pushing motion, you do a pulling motion, all for the upper body, and then you finish with something for the legs, like a squat or a deadlift, or in my case, I was just doing
super slow.
Super slow body weight squats.
And you're going to demonstrate a push-up.
Exactly. And you know, when I'm traveling, in many cases, if I don't have access to a gym, I'll even hack it a little bit more. If I want a little bit more of a challenge, I'll take my backpack, my big old heavy backpack I travel with, I'll put that on. I'll do my squats with my backpack on, or I'll do my push-ups with my backpack on.
Right.
But you don't even need that. If you're moving slowly, you'd be surprised at how quickly you can fatigue a muscle and maintain that optimum strength to muscle mass ratio without even stepping foot into a gym, which I love, because for me, fitness has to be sustainable. It has to be easy in that there's a low barrier to entry. There's low decision-making fatigue. I can finish up a long day, jet into my hotel room before dinner or a party or whatever, crank out that quick strength to muscle mass ratio set, and then boom, I'm done.
Because it's what science is now showing, and what you talk about in your quest, you do not need to be going to a gym for 30 to 60 minutes every single day. With the right exercise in just a few minutes, sometimes as little as 2 minutes, you can maintain incredible fitness, movement, longevity, and beauty.
You could do this entire quest with a cheapo set of dumbbells or a kettlebell or just a very minimalist amount of weights in your own home, never have a gym membership, never have a health club membership, and be fitter and also possess health, longevity, and beauty that trumps your friends who are spending hours of their waking time in a health club.
And now let's talk about super slow. What is the science that shows that super slow is so much more effective than normal, like traditional exercise?
There's a host of different reasons, but one that I'll give you is intriguing. I learned this from a researcher and a physician named Dr. Doug McGuff. And what he shows is that you build up blood pressure and you build up what's called lactic acid, which is that burn that you feel in the muscles as you exercise. And both of those confer a host of benefits. The blood pressure training is obviously fantastic for your cardiovascular health. Even if you don't have time to do cardio, this doubles up and counts as a form of cardio. The other thing that happens is as this lactic acid builds up, when you're moving so slowly, even though that lactic acid is out of your system after, just 15, 30 minutes after you finish the session, the idea is that after you've put that lactic acid in the muscle, and you're moving so slowly that it can't quite get out during the session, that causes a release of growth hormone. Growth hormone is not only correlated with having this type of muscle that you want and that symmetry and that beauty, but better sleep and better longevity and a host of benefits that come from this fountain of youth hormone circulating through your body.
That's incredible. And when I first read the data on this, when I first started looking at Doug McGuff's work, this was revolutionary for me, because 1 year into going into super slow methods, and we've been testing out super slow now on Mindvalley with hundreds of people here at Mindvalley University with our team, and the results have just been phenomenal. Check out this picture, this before-after picture of Jason Campbell, who is he's a well-known host and presenter here at Mindvalley, and how his body shape changed after just a few months of super slow. So let's recap. So strategy number 1 is metabolic efficiency. We spoke about intermittent fasting. We spoke about some minimal exercise, 10 to 20 minutes of walking the dog, the hot-cold shower combination, and then we introduced you to strength to muscle mass ratio and suggested the best way to get there, which is the super slow workout protocol. So those are just two of a whole different variety of strategies that you're gonna learn in our new quest with Ben Greenfield. So now, for you to understand what a super slow push-up looks like, and remember, we're just going to teach you the push-up now, but there are other exercises that you can do in a super slow way, which are covered in the quest. This is how Ben does a super slow push-up.
I want to show you just how simple it is. I'm going to show you 3 repetitions of one of my go-to exercises I do anytime, any place to tap into all the magic of super slow strength. Check this out. I'll drop into the push-up position, squeeze my butt and my abs so everything is nice and tight, and I'm simply going to drop for a 5 count and come up for a 5 count. 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm consciously thinking about each of the muscles that I'm trying to target as I'm going down through as much range of motion as I'm capable of and up. Now, as you've already learned, for a complete super slow set, you would move slowly like this until you just can't crank another one out. And it's that simple.
So at this point, folks, I want to tell you about the program we're developing with Ben Greenfield. See, we wanted to create the world's most advanced program for truly accelerating your fitness, but not just focus on fitness, because too many people are obsessed with the infomercials they see on television, and they think that that is the fix. But as Ben has explained, you're looking at 4 different dimensions here. There is health, there's longevity, or how much life and energy you're going to have into your later years. And finally, there's beauty, which is how you stand, how you feel, how people perceive you. And that's important too. So what we are creating here is really a lifestyle program that changes all of these different dimensions of how you are in relation to your body. Now, it doesn't cover eating. Eating is WildFit. If you want to learn how to eat well and how to change the way you approach food and lose weight in the process, that's Mindvalley's WildFit. This program is focused on exercise, on movement, on that other aspect of living and having the most incredible bodies we can have. So Ben, can you give us an idea of how this quest is laid out and what you cover?
So you're really only spending about 15 to 20 minutes per day engaged in new activities or new learnings. We wanted to make this something that involved no guesswork and no decision-making fatigue, and also didn't rip you away from your family and your social life and your hobbies and everything else that you want to focus on. So you get this health, fitness, beauty, and longevity with very, very short sessions each day. But furthermore, what we've done is we've got daily, weekly, and periodic activities. So daily, for example, you might be, since you're going to be taking a shower anyways, your hot, cold contrast shower. On a weekly basis, you would be doing, for example, one of those quick, super efficient, super slow training routines that we just talked about. An example of something you'd be doing
like the one I showed my father doing.
Exactly, yeah, and that's just once a week.
And it's once a week, right.
Yeah, far, far less than people have been led to believe that they need to strength train. And then we have periodic habits. So periodic habits are things that you do during the program just every once in a while. So for example, a very simple periodic habit is you go out on a nice nature hike or a long bike ride. This hits that stamina component, that ability to be able to move for long periods of time. But you don't have to go to a gym and frickin' do a death march on a treadmill while you're staring at a blank white wall or, you know, surrounded by a bunch of squeaky exercise tools inside of a health club. You can instead go out in nature. And there's a simple assignment during the program periodically that will appear. Another example would be a very simple isometric session where you're simply dropping into a certain position, like a squat or a push-up, and you're just holding that as long as you can, moving on to the next movement, and you're in, you're out, and you're done. But that builds up the muscle stamina. So the idea here is that you have daily you have weekly, and you have periodic activities that are gradually fed to you over the course of the 8-week program, so that by the end of it, you've set up basically systems in your life that make all this automated and easy. We've even got special ways that you can use triggers and habits to be able to make this something that you do automatically, that you hold yourself accountable for, and that you're able to accomplish without even thinking about it.
Thank you for sharing that, Ben. I want to add another dimension to that. As the creator of Mindvalley Quest with our 40-person engineering team, what we wanted to do was really create a platform where the world's best teachers like Ben Greenfield could come on and deliver their knowledge, and the platform would take care of all the different elements of making learning easy, fun, and addictive. See, many fitness programs, most people who buy them never complete them. In fact, I think the studies show that an overwhelming 90% of people who buy fitness DVDs and all of these other things never even get started. Now, how Quest is different is that firstly, this is not a boring fitness program where you need to channel willpower to make it work. It's designed in a way where it's based on a couple of principles that our learning experience design team put together that make it effortless. So what we find is while traditional online programs have an 8% completion rate, we can take that all the way to 50 to 80% for Mindvalley programs. And this is because of a number of things. Number one, micro-slice learning. It's just a few minutes a day. But every day we stack on new beliefs, new behaviors, new goals that keep you motivated and that fundamentally shift how you behave in life. We're engineering new beliefs, which is one of the reasons why this is spread out over 8 weeks. But there are two more principles that come in. The next principle is the concept of community. So what's going on here is that you can't start this program on your own. We have thousands of students who start together and then will cross the finishing line together, and they're all unified in an online Facebook group through the app. So what happens is that you get all of these other students who are going through this transformation, sharing their results and keeping you motivated. That's truly unique. And it's one of the reasons why so many people end up at that finishing line. Now, the final thing is the technology itself. From the way the app is designed to the reminders to the fact that you can look at this on your iPad or your iPhone or your Apple TV or your Android device. It's so easy to access the videos and the ideas here that it becomes a no-brainer. Like the app will remind you when it's time to log in and view your lesson for the day. Now also keep in mind, you do not have to be watching a new video every day in these 8 weeks. In a given week, there'll be maybe 3 to 4 new videos that you will need to watch. And these are fun. Ben is an incredible trainer and has a weird sense of humor that kind of keeps you engaged. But the app will remind you of daily activities you need to do in between the video releases so that you are adopting the right strategies and the right behaviors consistently. Now, at the end of 8 weeks, I promise you this, you will not only be at a whole new level of health, but you will have fundamentally transformed your whole identity towards your body and your whole understanding of health and wellness and longevity. You will start to know and believe and learn that you can actually slow down aging to a remarkable degree. And Ben, I'm going to say this because I've looked at this program and I'm blown away at the depth of knowledge. You are not just blindly following some fitness instructor on the screen. You are actually learning so much about health and wellness and fitness. You're being updated on so much of the current science that you will know more about this field than your gym instructor at the end of that 8 weeks. And you will become someone who will fundamentally view the world in a new way and will be able to serve as a guiding light to others when it comes to their health. A lot of people who take our fitness programs, their entire families end up transforming because they learn the right foods to serve, the right ways to raise their kids, the right messages to share with their coworkers and their family. And this program is really no exception.
And if I could include one extra thing, it would be that I've spent the past 2 decades of my life immersed as a complete fitness geek learning this stuff and also tapping into what it takes to enhance human health and human beauty and human longevity. I mean, this is my life. But what I wanted to do with this quest was to actually give people the ability to learn how to do it for themselves without having to tuck a Kindle or a collection of DVDs or 8 different fitness books into their backpack or anything else when they go to the gym or when they travel. The idea behind this quest is that you learn principles that you can take for life and inject anytime, any place into your routine without having to actually spend the time putting in a DVD or accessing your Kindle or downloading a PDF. The idea is that I wanted to teach a person how to fish,
right?
Not just give them a fish, and that's exactly what this program does.
That's a powerful statement. And so the program is really designed not to be like a DVD. It's designed as a coaching program. You're literally being coached every day for 8 weeks. The app has pretty much taken all of Ben's knowledge and transported it into a digital coach, and that's why this is so different from any exercise program out there. So if you scroll down below, you'll see that you can now enroll in our new program with Ben Greenfield. You're going way beyond the traditional idea of fitness. Really, this is about feeling amazing and being in your best body well into your hundreds. And this program is for you whether you're 20 years old or you're a teenager or you're like my father, 70 and beyond. Now, this program covers 4 pillars of fitness, and you can scroll down below and read this with me. The first is health, the second is fitness itself, the third is beauty, and the fourth is longevity. So it's a complete way of understanding your relationship with your body. And Ben here is going to take you through a different understanding and a different series of strategies every single week. Each one layers onto the other to create a complete picture and strategy for wellness and health in your life.
And if I could throw this in, think about it this way. You can be fit, but you can have the absence of health. You can get sick a lot. You can be fit, but you can have the absence of beauty, meaning your body can be asymmetrical and hunched over. You can be fit, but you can die an early death or have the absence of quality of life because you haven't focused on longevity and age resistance. This quest gives you all 4 components, not just the fitness, but the health, the beauty, and the longevity.
And before we move on, here are a few more things people have said about Ben. So this is from Jim McIntosh. He was morbidly obese. A year later, he had lost over 100 pounds, identified 2 major health issues, and cured 3 others, GERD, IBS, and acid reflux. Yes, cured, he said. I got rid of the root cause and completed a triathlon. 2.5 years later, he completed an Ironman in Canada. David Morgan said, my eating habits are far better than the past and much more consistent from the initial triathlon training where I accomplished the Olympic distance, something that seemed impossible, to a well-structured and fun maintenance routine. Leanna said, my endurance improved, I grew stronger, I reached my weight and body fat goals. With Ben's encouragement and guidance, I'm now training for triathlons with the confidence that I'm in the best shape of my life. Now, here's the crazy thing, people. It's not just about getting healthy. It's not just about getting younger. People who are learning from Ben are actually getting so healthy. They're making such a dramatic shift in their biological age that they are running triathlons. Carolyn said, in 2 months, I lost 12 pounds, lowered my body fat 4 percentage points, strengthened an injured knee to avoid surgery, and lowered my blood pressure. And Julia, she said, since following Ben's exercise, I've reduced my hip pain and I was able to complete the Echo Triathlon. And even if you think you know fitness, like Eric Hissall here, he was a PE teacher, and he said he's been able to incorporate so many of Ben's principles and fitness variables into his class curriculum. He said, I've seen my classes get into better shape and learn to appreciate physical fitness more. Jim said, I'm now in the best shape I've ever been in 5 months of training. I've never been this strong in my life. At 39 years old, I feel alive and like I can actually take on the world. Stephanie said, he helped me get off the weight loss roller coaster I've ridden since I had my children. And it's broken down into 8 weeks as follows. Week 1 is the preparation week. You're going to learn a ton over here that's going to blow your mind. If you enjoyed the ideas over here, wait till you experience week 1. Now in week 2, you're going to learn concepts of metabolic efficiency. Now what this means is that you're going to learn how to make your body burn fat faster. When we get to week 3, you're going to learn about lifestyle mobility. Maybe you're the type of person who travels a lot. How do you stay fit when you spend so much time in hotel rooms? Ben, maybe you want to explain in greater detail what you mean by lifestyle mobility.
Lifestyle mobility means that your body is not just fit, but moves in the way that you want it to move and doesn't have all the aches and the pains and the strains and the soreness most people experience when they jump into a fitness program.
So important when we get older, right? Now week 4 is about muscular endurance and anaerobic capacity, and you know, musculature has one of the highest correlations with longevity.
Muscle is correlated directly with longevity, but it needs to be the right kind of muscle. As folks learned earlier, it's not about just piling as much muscle as you can onto your body. You want functional, lean muscle that does what you want it to do and that also releases some of those things that we talked about earlier, those anti-aging hormones like growth hormone.
And now in week 5, you go into strength and muscle mass. Tell us about that.
So again, the idea is that you don't just want a lot of muscle. You want muscle to be strong and you want it to be powerful. And there's even been research that shows that it's not the amount of muscle that you have, it's the quality of that muscle. You want good, fast twitch, wiry, explosive, functional muscle, not just slabs of useless muscle.
And I know some women who are watching are wondering, look, I don't want to build muscle. At least I know that's what some of my female friends had told me when I told them about this program. But I know that that's not true. Would you explain?
What is kind of a myth in the fitness industry is that by putting on muscle, you're putting on big, bulky muscle, the kind of muscle that makes you walk around like this, or the thighs that won't even touch each other because they're so massive. That's not what this program gives you. What we're trying to develop is tight, lean, functional muscle that looks amazing, but that doesn't make you big and bulky.
So week 6, we go into cardio fitness and mitochondrial density.
Mitochondria, it's that part of your cells that creates energy currency. That's again directly correlated with your longevity, your well-being, how able you are to walk, to sprint, to play the sports that you want to play, to take oxygen and food and generate energy. That's something that must be included in an exercise program, and many programs completely neglect that component of mitochondrial density. I've woven in every scientific concept I know about how to increase your mitochondrial density into this program and made it very simple and easy to understand.
And this gives you that burst of energy that you need to just power through a crazy work day or sprint up stairs, right? Like 4 or 5 flights of stairs to get to the top floor of a mall or to get to the top floor of your office effortlessly. So week 7 is on stamina. Week 8 is on recovery and personal success. Now, tell us about recovery.
Recovery is your ability to be able to not only bounce back from something like a workout, but also your ability to be able to repair your body while you're asleep, while you're laying there doing nothing at all. Your ability to be able to repair and regenerate new cells as you're going throughout your day. You know, I've spent a great deal of, specifically the past several years, realizing, again, that feeling good is not just about being fit. A big part of feeling good is about enhancing longevity. You know, I realized after years of beating up my body with the wrong kind of fitness that my biological age was actually older than my chronological age. And I began to weave into my life the things that would help me: recovery, mobility, turning my body into a fat-burning machine, working on a lot of the elements of this program, the health and the beauty component. And once I began to do that, I started to test my telomere length, which shows how quickly you're aging. The first time that I tested, like I mentioned, my biological age was older than my chronological age. I was 34 years old, chronologically. Biologically, I was 37. The next time that I tested, I was 35 years old chronologically, but I was 36 biologically. This last test, and I'm 37 chronologically right now, I am 20 years old biologically.
Wow.
By weaving into my life exactly what people are going to learn in this
Now,
quest.
initially, you were America's top fitness trainer. So why was your biological age so much older than your chronological age?
Because there are myths and big fat lies in the fitness industry that tell you to go beat up your body, work till you're sore, destroy yourself until you're blue in the face, and that's not what is necessary for longevity. And furthermore, it's not what's necessary. Just feel freaking good.
You were older biologically than you were in terms of your actual chronological age because you were into fitness, pure fitness, and fitness isn't the answer to longevity. But when you started exploring these other concepts, including what you cover in week 8, such as recovery, your biological age went down to 20, which means you now have the body of your 20-year-old self.
Exactly, and there's no reason everybody can't have that.
And I want you to understand that because that's the difference between fitness and going beyond fitness. So Ben, while we have everyone here, what I'd love to do is have you answer a couple of frequently asked questions from our community.
Put me in the hot seat, baby.
So, firstly, all of you who are enrolling in this product, congratulations. And please know that as a thank you for watching this masterclass up to now and investing the past hour with us, you get a special unlock price. Do not close this page. And when you enroll on this page, you'll get a pretty decent savings. So I know this program is going to be one of the best investments in your life, but we want to incentivize you to enroll and be part of the batch that's starting right now as a result of this masterclass airing. Now, Ben, let's put you in the hot seat. So the first question is, what are the main outcomes for this quest? Is it weight loss? Is it weight gain?
It is to be. So think about the superheroes, right? You have Incredible Hulk, and he's huge, and Flash is super fast, and everybody's got their own unique skills. Wolverine can recover extremely quickly. I would like you to think about this in terms of being like Batman or Catwoman, right? Like you have every skill. You have a well-rounded human body and physiology that can do everything from generate strength to live a long time, to have amazing symmetry and beauty, to feel healthy and not get sick. So the idea behind this program is not for it just to be a muscle gain or a weight loss program, because frankly, there's a lot of people that are, say, skinny, right? They don't want to lose weight. Maybe they want to put on a little bit of tight, lean muscle, or maybe they want to live a longer period of time, right? So the idea is this quest is designed to turn you into an optimized human being who has every component of what it takes to look, feel, and perform the way that you want to.
Optimized human being. Now, number two, do I need a gym membership or any specialized equipment?
So in the very first week, I give people an extremely short list of the simple things that you need to get through this program, and it's not an expensive gym or health club membership. For example, you need a set of weights, a couple of dumbbells or a kettlebell. You need a elastic resistance band, which is basically pennies on the dollar at a sporting goods store. You need some kind of a foam roller or exercise tool that can be used for self-massage and mobility work. But the list of things that you need is incredibly small. This is not a complex program when it comes to what you need to own.
Okay, and then next question is, who is this for? Do I need to be fit to be in this program? Is it better suited for males or females? What if I'm injured or have a medical condition?
First of all, this program is for anyone, but let me give you an example. You know, let's say you're an elite athlete watching this and you think you know everything there is to know about fitness. Well, the fact is, many athletes train way more than they need to. You know, I discovered in my last year of Ironman training that I needed to train 1/4 of my peers to be able to still toe the line at the Ironman World Championships in Hawaii. I've woven many of those same concepts into this program, even if people aren't racing an Ironman triathlon per se. In addition, many elite athletes and people who are already fit haven't nailed those components of health and beauty and longevity and just have that 1/4 of the scenario taken care of, that fitness component. In addition, if you're a complete beginner who knows nothing at all about fitness or beauty or health or longevity, I've designed this so that you can go in and do it with no knowledge beforehand, walking in as a complete blank slate, whether you're male, female, overweight, skinny, fit, unfit, doesn't matter. This program is for anyone.
Amazing. In fact, when we were testing out some of the ideas from this program on our team, it was majority women who enrolled in it, and they had incredible results. Now, question number 4 is, does this program cover dieting or nutrition principles or strategies?
Well, of course, you know, like we alluded to with something like metabolic efficiency, I've woven in a few very simple strategies, such as intermittent fasting, for example. However, there is a form of eating called Wild Fit that I'm 100% on board with. I absolutely love it. There's already a quest about it.
And that's a Mindvalley program.
It's a Mindvalley program. It's already done for you. So I didn't want to reinvent the wheel and throw a bunch of extra nutrition components in.
So if you know your biggest problem is obesity, or your biggest problem is your relationship to food, you might want to start with Wild Fit.
Yeah, I mean, Wild Fit pairs perfectly with this program.
Right. Now, the next question is, how will I be able to manage with this program if I have a busy routine? How many hours do I need to commit on a daily or weekly basis?
On a weekly basis, only 45 minutes. 45 minutes per week. You go in and you work with a personal trainer at the gym. They'll tell you, you got to come here Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday for an hour, and then I'll see you on Saturday for our big outdoor session for a couple more hours. This program is nothing like that.
And that's the biggest thing people have a hard time wrapping their mind around. It's because gyms have kind of put this belief in us that you need to go for these hour-long trainings. Guess what? Because gym instructors are paid by the hour. But modern science is showing that minimum effective dose exercise can be more effective. So it's around 45 minutes a week of exercise, but it's around 10 to 20 minutes every few days of learning and educating yourself on the elements that you need to know to truly get the best out of your body. So the next is, I've taken many other fitness programs before. I've bought these like equipment I see on television. How is this program different?
Just like any of the Mindvalley quests, there's a component that no fitness programs address. That's the stick-to-itiveness, learning the strategies, learning the habits, learning the skills that equip you to be able to go out and do this on your own. You will know more than your personal trainer. You'll know more than anybody who's spending their life at a health club. You'll know more in many cases than even your physician does about things like fitness and health and beauty and longevity. The idea is that it's not just a workout program, it's a complete education for your entire body and for your health, your fitness, your beauty, and your longevity for the rest of your freaking life.
Thank you, Ben. And thank you guys for tuning in. Ben, any closing words?
Yes, I think this is probably the only quest that exists where there are shower scenes and bright red Speedos.
That's hilarious. For those of you who want to stay back a bit, I'm going to give you a couple of quick minutes of a preview of what the Quest program is like and the kind of footage and the kind of lessons that you will be experiencing when you enroll in this program. So stay tuned. And for those of you who have enrolled, congratulations. I'll see you in the online community. I cannot wait to see the remarkable results you're going to get. So if you scroll down below, you'll see that you can now enroll in our new program with Ben Greenfield.